We're back. We're back with Megan from Fort Campbell. So, if I get orders to Fort Campbell, Megan, what is the first thing I need to know?
Oh man, the first thing, so you're going to hear Kentucky, you're going to hear Tennessee. Fort Campbell straddles the Kentucky Tennessee state line. It is technically in Kentucky. If you live on post, you have a Kentucky address, but certain gates are in Kentucky, certain gates are in Tennessee. So keep in mind, you'll hear it both ways. You have the option to live in Kentucky if you're off post, but a lot of people, you'll hear Clarksville is the main city, and that's where probably, I don't remember what the percentage is, but a lot of people end up in Clarksville.
So, some people do live in Kentucky?
Yeah, Oak
Okay.
Grove, there's several places. Hopkinsville, mark that one on the list to visit. Hopkinsville has a really cool downtown area. So it's kind of, it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for proximity to work and jobs and stuff, you're probably going to be on the Clarksville side just because Clarksville's the bigger city. There's not a lot on the Kentucky side. A lot of training area is what you'll find more or less. It's a little bit more rural.
I didn't know that it was on two states, so I learned something new. How you are actually from that area, is that correct?
Yeah, I cheated. I married into the 101st, is what I say. I am born and raised right outside of Nashville and met my husband when he was here. He was here 2 rounds, and then we are here finally. He's retired out in October, so we are here to settle now. The 101st will always be home.
So, since you're a local, what would be a hidden gem that you would recommend Fort Campbell families check
Oh,
out?
I think probably Hopkinsville is one that doesn't get the appreciation. The downtown area of Hopkinsville is kind of like stepping back in time. There's a couple of wonderful restaurants. It's just a really nice vibe that they've got going on down there. There's so much to do. The big thing that's happened the last few years, I guess distilleries have really popped up around here. Clarksville has got they had the winery for a long time, but now you've got lots of distilleries. There's so much to do. Downtown area has restaurants. If you've been to Fort Campbell, you know the Black Horse, unfortunately, is the place to go. And they had a fire. It's been I think it's like 6 months ago. They had a fire and had to shut it down, but it's about to open back up. Downtown is really the happening place now for Clarksville.
How far out do people typically live if they live off post?
So we were off exit 8. Everything when it comes to Clarksville, you talk in exits. It's kind of funny. But there's like Clarksville's so big, it's divided up. We were about 25 minutes from Post. You can go, honestly, we know people that live in Nashville and they commute every day. Nashville's about, depending on traffic, 45 minutes to an hour away.
Mm.
But the typical commute is probably, if you're living off post, you're probably looking 20-25 minutes, depending on how far out you are. There's exit 11, which is they call it the Sango area. It's a little bit further out, but it's a really nice area. It's kind of become its own little city within a city. That was always our favorite spot. Like I said, a little bit further out. A lot of my spouse friends have worked in the Nashville area because there's just so much. So you can kind of split the difference the further out you go. So it just kind of depends on where you want to be.
And what is the on-post housing situation like at Fort Campbell? Is there enough housing? Is it long wait lists?
I couldn't tell you what the wait list time is right now. Housing there is pretty good. They've done quite a bit of work in the time we've been gone. They've really upgraded some stuff. It's not a bad place to live on post at all.
What are recreational activities like for kids? Are there a lot of like sports leagues and parks and rec leagues?
There's a lot of stuff. Clarksville is a huge area that continues to grow with Nashville being the it city that it is. It's just kind of poured into Clarksville area as well. They are finally getting a ice rink. That has been one of the biggest things since Nashville got the Predators. So many people were driving. If your kids played hockey, you were driving an hour and a half to go to Franklin, and they are finally about to get an ice rink up there. So if you come in and your kids are playing hockey, they're actually going to be able to play there. There are lots and lots of parks everywhere. There is everything that you could possibly need, honestly, you can find within about 30 minutes. And you've got areas that are a little bit further away. If you're looking for a weekend away, there's land between the lakes. There's all kinds of stuff within like a 2 or 3 hour drive as well.
That's exciting about hockey because I feel like a lot of military families are like, I have a kid that plays hockey, and then it's always the really long drive from whatever duty station they're at. So that is good to
Yeah,
know
they
about Fort
that's
Campbell.
gonna be that's gonna be a really good thing when they get that open. I'm excited to see it. It's been a long time coming, but I'm really excited to see it.
I've visited Tennessee, but I haven't been in a while. They get all 4 seasons, right?
Oh, yeah,
Like, you get a
so
true
we are
winter,
in
like snow?
yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
So we've had probably 3 snowstorms this year, which is I won't say it's out of the ordinary, but it's also not really normal. It just kind of depends on the year. We are currently in, I guess this is like the second or third spring. We get warm for a few days and then we go back and kind of go back into winter a little bit to remind us. But yes, there are 4 seasons here. Unlike Fort Hood, where you are, we actually do have 4 seasons. Winter can be quite interesting. It could be 70 on Christmas. It could be 20 and snowing on Christmas. You never know. The weather's a little bit unpredictable, but it's nice.
Yeah, unpredictable like Texas, but well, we could get snow. You never know. Are there
Yeah.
any big events in the Clarksville or or that Fort Campbell puts on that would be good to know
So
about?
that is one thing I will say. Campbell's MWR, their MWR always has something going on. They are huge. They are all about it. They generally once a year they get a big show. They just announced a couple of weeks ago. I forgot who the headliner is going to be, but they always do like a spring or a summer show. There's a lot that goes on. I don't know post COVID, I don't know what's going to be back versus what's not going to be back, but Clarksville has several festivals throughout the year. They'll bring music artists in from Nashville, well, really all over the country, all kinds of stuff. And like I said, there's always something going on. And then of course, if you can't find what you're looking for, there's always something going on in Nashville too. We spend a lot of time between the two, as most people do. Usually anytime that you tell people, oh, well, you've been to Campbell, well, that means I'm close to Nashville, right? Yes, you're close to Nashville. By all means, you can go, you can have a night out and enjoy a night out and then be ready to go for the next day.
That sounds awesome. Thanks, Megan. Now I'm gonna come visit you.
Sounds good.
Because I want to see
Absolutely.
Nashville and Clarksville.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else you wanted to add, or did we cover it?
Just remember, keep your options open with it. It is a great post. We always hear anybody that's been in the 101 will tell you. Generally, if you come here, you're probably going to want to come back. And that's the truth of it.
Awesome. Well, I'm gonna come visit. Sign me up.
Anytime.
Thanks, Megan.